shoot me in a dream, you better wake up and apologize.
Stuff your sorries in a sack, mister.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America.
I'm sorry!
Congratulations, you've unlocked All Apologies, a show about apology tours and demanding satisfaction. I'm your host, Andy Q. Public, and with me today is my guest co-host, Karl Hamburger from WATP.
Hey, what's happening, Andy Q. Public?
And also Joe's here. Joe, what's going on?
Everybody look for all of our links over at allapologiespodcast.com. That's where you'll find the link to the Patreon. Andy's on Instagram constantly. And I think on sending all of his information to China on TikTok, Twitter, X, whatever it is now. You'll find all of our links.
Yeah. And let's be sure to plug Hackmania.com at the top of the show, where WATP will be in Vegas with Nobody Likes Onions and Tukey Soup. The Creep Off's going to be there.
Yes,
all
we're
your
doing
favorites.
live podcasting, live comedy shows, May 31st through June 2nd in Las Vegas. Hackmania.com for tickets. WATP is your promo code for 20% off.
Don't miss it.
Missing it would be
on,
stupid.
I love seeing Melton on your show the other week, Karl.
He's great.
Yeah, I think that's like a long overdue. I hope he comes back a lot more.
Oh, for sure. I love Patrick Melton. Like, his style's great. Him and I are very different in that he'll have 20 clips and turn that into a 4-hour show. I'll have 20 clips and be like, we got to get through this in 15 minutes, guys, because I got other shit to talk about. But he's great on the show. I love it.
What I love about Patrick Melton is that he says everything twice. And that's what I love about Patrick Melton, is that he will say everything twice. So then the show becomes twice as long.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. Hey, you got to give people something to chew on. And what we're chewing on today is Rochester District Attorney Sandra Doorley recently got they attempted to stop her for speeding, and she was having none of it. And this has made national news. So I'm assuming a lot of people have seen the body cam footage.
EMS, a 14-year-old having a seizure, 200 East River Road, apartment 200 on the third floor.
Because I was going 55 up Coast Road. And I was
she's
just
part
trying
of she's a DA.
Yep, I know. And I was just trying to pull into my driveway. I was on the phone with Dennis Kohlmeyer saying, would you please tell the person who's following me that I'm almost home?
Ma'am, I understand you were going home, but I started my lights back at Phillips Road.
Hey, on Phillips Road, yes, you did, and there are other cars.
I was right behind you, directly behind you. At the end,
go ahead, like,
listen,
you wanna,
at the
like
end of the day.
Go ahead if you want to write me a traffic ticket, that's fine.
Okay, at the end of the day, I was stopping you for speed. If you
I've
just
had
stopped.
a really bad day. I've been dealing with murders.
And I get it, and I get it. We have bad days also, ma'am.
I'm sorry.
We have bad days also.
My license back?
I'm going to just add it to the job real quick.
Okay, I'm gonna do it.
And this being All Apologies, we are more worried about the aftermath and people owning up to their shit than the actual body cam footage that everybody's already seen. So we do have it's about 90 seconds, the 90-second talk to the camera apology. That is, what famously.
What I like about this, and Andy, you guys play a lot of apologies that are insincere. Yeah. Sandra Doorley, the DA of Monroe County, where I live and you guys live, sincere. This is what I like about her apology. I believe it.
Sincere as that comment.
Yeah. So, so Karl, we recently hit 52 episodes. Now it's more than a year. We've done more than 52 episodes or whatever. But so we've really seen a lot of it, and she's hitting a lot of the speed bumps that we usually call out. I'll call them out as we go here.
Yeah.
But one of the best apologies we've ever seen was Elliot Spitzer's apology for like the Ashley Dupre. Like that's a lawyer. A lawyer is a versed person. Like they're experts at speaking and apologizing, right?
Sure.
This should be one of the best apologies that you could get. It is not.
You shouldn't fumble in the first 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And yet, Sandra Doorley figures out a way.
Right.
Let's hear it.
Right. So here's the this is a boilerplate response anyone gives when they're caught in the act being a corrupt first-class asshole on body cam footage.
Last Monday, I failed you and the standards that I hold myself to. And for that, I am so sorry. What I did was wrong. No excuses. I take full responsibility for my actions.
Pause it right there. This is what I'm talking about. Pause it right there.
Yep.
She goes, what I did. And just if anyone doesn't know, Sandra Doorley didn't pull over. She was going 55 into 35. A suburban police officer put his sirens on, started following her. She just drove home, went into the garage, and then the cop followed her and was just like, hey, I was trying to pull you over. And she goes, do you know who the fuck I am? I'm the DA. Like, what's your problem? And she literally called up that police officer's boss and handed her phone to him like, yeah, you're in trouble now, asshole. And it's great. It was all captured on this footage.
Right.
So
it's not like she's driving around with a Pizza Hut thing on the top of her car that says, I'm the DA.
Right.
How the fuck is the cop supposed to know?
Well, she's mad because he didn't run the plates. You're supposed to run the plates, realize that that's your boss's boss's boss, and then never, ever pull them over for anything they do, which exposed the corruption within law enforcement everywhere, including Monroe County. She doesn't even know what she did. Right. She exposed this corruption that is way beyond Sandra or Rochester or anything. And in Monroe County, it's crazy. She's a fucking asshole. She deserves to lose her job immediately. But what's great about this apology is she goes, and you heard that there. So she's working with public relations or whatever kind of company she's working with. And they said, okay, this is what you got to say. There's no excuses for what I did. You know, I apologize. I made the wrong move. There's no excuses. So that's how she started it. Now you can tell that she goes, all right, that's a good way to start, but I'm going to start writing my own stuff in here because immediately after that, she's got multiple excuses. This is the craziest part about this.
Yeah. And that's exactly what I was talking about before is like the excuses. There's no place for that in an apology. Like failure one.
Correct.
Right?
You guys have heard so many excuses. You can't be like, you know, if you're Tiger Woods, you're like, all right, was I unfaithful to my wife? All right. Was I banging every Perkins waitress I ever met? Yes. But my wife is frigid. Yeah. She doesn't like anal. She doesn't do ATM. What do you want from me? I'm the best golfer in the world. Like that's not a good apology. You can't work those. Like you're thinking that. That's what you're thinking. You can't say it. Don't say it.
So the other thing you touched on this before, Karl, I just want to call this out as well. The idea, the arrogance of, I'm just not going to stop because you should have essentially like, you're not doing your job properly. You're not like, now I know there's whatever the technology where they can scan a plate or something like that. I don't know that that's something you can do while driving and then also the guys, you know, chasing, it's a high speed pursuit. She's doing 50 in a third through a residential area.
55 and a 35. Yeah.
And so in her mind, he's supposed to run her plate and go, Sandra Doorley of Webster. This is the DA. Like he's supposed to like run through this whole checklist of, she's just good to go.
Well, it's supposed to do it's supposed to be the beginning of Copland where Janine Garofalo pulls over Harvey Keitel. And then Stallone shows up and smooths it all over. She's like, you don't pull over Harvey Keitel and Cop.
But it's worse than that, though, Joe, because in her mind, she's looking down on this officer for not knowing who she is. Right. Because at a certain point in this video, I know we're not playing the police cam video. We've all seen it. But he goes, listen, I didn't realize you were a DA. She goes, I'm not a DA. I'm the DA.
Yeah,
she's the Monroe County District Attorney, and she's like, "How do you fucking not know that?" And I was talking to a friend of mine who's was on the RPD as of 6 months ago. He's retired now, but he was on for over 30 years. And he goes, and he won't say this out loud, but he told me in a private conversation. He goes, "Oh, Sandra, this is who Sandra is behind closed doors. She had the highest turnover of any DA in the history of Monroe County. She undresses. She's an asshole to everyone. She thinks she's above the law. She treats people like shit. And we saw it firsthand. We saw her for 30 minutes. It wasn't like she was like, my bad, I had a bad day. I'm sorry. Anyway, you're right. I should have pulled over. No, the entire time, multiple police officers showing up. She's like, can you believe this asshole was trying to pull me over? What the fuck is wrong with him?
Right. And also how insecure of her, like just speaking to the video again, before we kind of keep going with the apology.
Yeah.
Anybody with a grain of self-confidence or the ability to manage a situation would be like, yeah, well, do you want a bottle of water while you're here? Because this is all going to resolve itself real fucking quick when you get it all figured out. Like, this is a non-issue, but she doesn't treat it that way. She just, she devolves into dressing this guy down and making him feel like it.
Yes.
He even says in the video, like, I don't understand this hostility.
Yeah.
Like, to the situation.
She called him an asshole. He's like, how am I being an asshole? I'm just doing my job.
Yeah.
I do have.
You're going 20 over the speed limit. I was going to pull you over. What do you want?
Right.
Yeah, I do have some audio from it.
And you will respect my authority.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if we can get through our first clip.
Please. I'm sorry.
For my entire 33-year career, I didn't treat this officer with the respect that he deserved. All police officers deserve respect. I am truly and sincerely sorry.
So once again, wrong. Okay. All police officers deserve respect. We have a laundry list of police officers that don't deserve respect. Okay.
Like
so that's just a merit.
Mark
line.
Furman? Like, what are you talking about? Who doesn't deserve respect?
Yeah. But so just right away, it's like these generic statements that she's throwing out there, but just trying to calm everybody down. All police officers.
Well, Joe, are you even understanding what's going on here? She is the boss of all of the police departments in Monroe County.
Mm-hmm.
So when she says like all police officers deserve respect, you would hope that your boss would say that. Like, regardless of what position you had, you would hope that the head of the company would be like, hey, listen, all of our employees deserve respect. They're all great. Mm-hmm. That's the bare minimum of what you can say as the boss running an organization. Joe's like, fuck that shit. Some of these cops are jerks. But her job is to sell you on the fact that cops are good.
Yeah.
That's her job.
She should be the champion of it. Sure.
Yes,
but it's
correct.
also patently false. I mean, if you're going to bullshit me, you need to bullshit me a lot better because you even didn't do it. You don't even believe the bullshit you're spewing.
No, you're right. There are some Latinos who got in because of affirmative action who don't deserve our respect. But mostly police officers do reserve our respect, I would say. I don't know.
All the female police officers.
Yeah, there's some women in there that probably don't deserve it. But yeah, most of them do.
I just come from work. I was dealing with 3 homicides that occurred over the weekend.
Excuse.
I watched a video where an innocent cab driver was executed.
She's
And
mad, huh?
Frightening medical concern that my husband received that afternoon. But we all had bad days and stress, and it was wrong for me to take it out on an officer who was simply doing his job.
Then why did you bring it up? She literally said there's no excuse for what I did. And then she goes, however, here are my 5 excuses.
Right.
Yeah.
Why did you bring it up in the apology? You dumb C word. What are you doing?
Exactly. Karl, how many murders were there today in Rochester, do you think?
A few.
A few.
Yeah.
Right. I was dealing with 3 murders today. That's every fucking day in Rochester.
Correct.
It's every day. That's not an excuse. But
Yeah, but
also, I don't believe for 1 second that she gives a fuck about any of the homicides.
I know, as if her job is so difficult. They never solve these fucking murders. Joe, I was watching, I never watch the local news. Last night, my band played a show. I came home. The Rochester Americans, our hockey team, came back down 3-0 going into the third, scored 3 goals in the third, 1 in overtime, bringing game 5 back to Rochester. And Rochester, I'll be there. I'm looking forward to it. So I was watching the local news just to watch the highlights of the Everest game. And immediately off the top, they're like, well, there's 5 more homicides in Rochester. 3 people were killed in the house. Some guy was seen running away. We don't know who it was. And then there's another homicide. We can't figure that one out. Like, literally, I'm not saying that Rochester's a shithole, but it's a shithole. There's just people killing each other all the fucking time. And Sandra Doorley, and by the way, not for nothing, Sandra, she wasn't given this job reluctantly. Hey, can you help us be the DA? She's like, I don't know. It seems like a tough job. It's homicides and cab drivers. No, she ran for it. She fucking asked people to vote for it. She won the position. And she's like, yay, I got the job. And then she gets pulled over. She's like, my job's tough. Fuck you. Fuck you. You ran for this.
Also, I'm a little upset about my husband's erectile dysfunction. Whatever fucking medical condition.
That was so insane.
Publicly. What the fuck are you doing? He's sitting at home going, keep my name out of your mouth, bitch.
Yeah, right.
She's like, and also Jackie Martling had a stroke. I was really bummed out about that.
What an asshole.
While I previously apologized to him, I will say it again. I'm sorry. Police already have a tough job, and that day I made this officer's job harder. To the community, I owe you full transparency. Here's what I'm doing to hold myself accountable.
Nobody's holding a gun to my head off camera while I say this.
No, she's only sorry because she got caught.
Yeah.
If this
like reading a prompter.
No, 100%. If the cop cam didn't surface, which she should know was going to happen, she was proud of herself. She wanted this. She wanted to tell this police officer, what the fuck are you doing trying to pull me over? I'm the DA.
Yeah.
She was trying to embarrass this person. And now it turned and flipped, and now she's embarrassed. And she's like, oh, I had a bad day. You had 30 minutes to figure it out while this was happening.
Yeah.
And the whole time you were like, oh, you're going to write me a ticket? Guess who prosecutes this? Me. I'm going to throw it out. Write me a fucking ticket. See what you can do. This cop is a pussy. And everyone's praising this police officer from Webster. He should have tased her, handcuffed her, and thrown her in the back of the car. She was resisting arrest. Yep. That was something that you could arrest someone for what she was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Not stopping for a traffic stop. And I honestly want to see Sandra Doorley behind bars. Let's make it happen, people.
Yeah.
I agree.
I'm going to get into a 10-minute interview where she tries to do even more tap dancing with this. And you've never seen somebody like stumble and fall while they're trying to tap dance more than you're going to see it in this interview. It's really something. She's got her talking points, and whenever they deviate from the talking points, she just doesn't know how to get things back on track. It's really fucking embarrassing, but we got a little bit. Joe,
hang on one second, Andy.
Look at you now.
But anyway, what I really wanted to say is, throughout all of our apologies that we've covered here, one of the biggest faux pas that you can make is saying nobody's going to hold me accountable more than I'm going to hold myself accountable. Now, let me lay out this is where she's expanding on this a little bit more than what we usually see. Oh, I'm so hard on myself. Let me now let her lay out her 3-part plan about how she's going to manage the situation here.
First, I already pled guilty to the speeding ticket, and I will willingly pay the fine. Next, I'm referring the entire matter to a district attorney from another county for review and will fully cooperate with that investigation. I'm going to self-report this incident to the grievance
committee. As opposed to what?
And I will cooperate with their investigation.
Okay. Let's see.
That's a big pile of nothing.
Yeah.
A fine that she can easily afford and a process that will go nowhere.
So, Joe, as a result of this ticket, I'm going to give myself a raise because I need more money to pay off my tickets.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to ask my friend who I hang out with at different conferences to pretend that they're looking into it.
Sweep it under the rug. Yeah, thank you.
Sweet.
All right.
The prosecution rests.
Yeah. Believe me, this is all going to come up again. So we'll just get through this last 20 seconds of this horse shit, and then we'll get into the real pile of horse shit.
Finally, if one of my assistant district attorneys had acted this way, I would have disciplined them. So I'm disciplining myself.
Okay.
I will take ethics training to remind myself that professionalism matters. I've been humbled by my own stupidity, and I'm fully to blame. I will make this right. I ask for your forgiveness.
Is there a world where she does lose her job? I think is that her begging for her job? Because I think
she needs to lose her job.
Yeah.
And I'm not a guy who likes to cancel people. I hate people saying this person should lose their job. This is a person who's corrupt.
Yeah.
And Sandra, you can be an asshole. I don't care. I've worked for assholes. I've worked with assholes. It's fine. You're corrupt. You literally were mad at the officer for trying to pull you over for going 20 over the speed limit, to the point where you just drove home or drove in your garage. You're like, what the fuck is your problem? Like, you're a corrupt asshole. You need to lose your job.
Yeah. Also, I'm going to be taking ethics training. Now, you guys know I'm knee deep in training. This is the ethics training that Sandra Doorley is going to take. Next.
Yeah.
Oh, done.
Yeah. A,
Ethics training.
C. Yeah.
When a cop tries to pull you over, should you A, pull over, B, drive back to your house, C, get out of your car and shoot him? All right, I'm going to need more time on this ethics training. I don't know. I got to study the study guide.
D, all of the above.
You're the DA of a county. Somebody offers you $100,000 bribe. Should you take it? Yes or no? Ethics training over.
Right.
All right.
But the whole idea of ethics training, like, I had to take, thank God I got out of corporate America. But at a certain point, I had to take, what was the training that everyone was doing during the Me Too movement? It was like sexual harassment in the workforce or something. It's the dumbest shit ever. It's like your coworker Carly shows up and she's wearing a miniskirt and her legs are fucking popping. Do you A, tell her how great her butt looks? B, compliment her on her boobs, even though her boobs suck? C, put your dick in her mouth? Or D, keep it to yourself? We're like, I think I know the answer. I think I got this one.
Yeah. Carl's writing in, shine my shoes till they become mirrors, and walk up behind her.
Yeah, they didn't even have the thing that I would have done out there. I'm like, all right, cool. I can get this one easily.
Yeah. All right. This is the interview that she did where they're going to give her more of a chance to explain herself and her train of thought while this was all unfolding, and her thoughts about the aftermath of it.
Why didn't you stop? I have no good answer for that. I regret what I did. I am sorry for what I did. If I could go back in time, I certainly would handle the situation a lot differently. I wish I could say this is why I didn't stop, but I have no good answer. I made a mistake.
All right. Can I tell you what she told the police officer who asked why didn't she stop?
Yeah.
I didn't know you were pulling me over. There's lots of cars.
Yeah.
Like, she literally told the police officer, he's like, why didn't you just stop when I came up behind you? She's like, you were behind me. I don't know you're behind. There's lots of cars on Phillips Road.
Yeah, I thought you were pulling somebody else over.
So the fact that her story's changing and it's getting worse, it's a bad sign, right? Like, at least if she would have stuck with that and be like, oh, I didn't know. I was trying to like drive fast so the cop would get to where they were going. I thought they had an emergency to get to. Like, I would have just stuck with that. Like, why did you pull over? She's like, because I'm above the law. Like, no, go back to the other story. That was better.
Oh, yeah. Also, I apologize. I didn't realize I was going to be on TV. Otherwise, I would have done that.
Shit.
The fuck?
And this is my new favorite trope of everybody wants to go. If I could go back, I'd fix the thing that's immediately affecting me now. Nobody wants to go back in time and give the Holy Land the old Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and every other Sunday share the Holy Land thing and fix a global crisis. They just wish that they had pulled over. And
Andy, it's simpler than that. Let's say you're married and you cheat on your wife. You sleep with a hot younger chick, and you get away with it, and she never finds out, and it just happened. And then 20 years later, someone goes, "So you cheat on your wife with a hotter chick? Do you wish you could take that back?" No one ever in the history of the world would be like, yeah, I should have done that. It's only when you're caught. Right. It's only when you're caught. You're just like, I should have never done that. I feel so terrible about it. I mean, this chick was way tighter in every place that I like, and it was amazing. But I never should have done that. I'm so mad at myself.
Yeah. How you have to know. I mean, you already said it. All the assistant DAs got their fingers crossed that she's going to get shit canned. Yeah, everybody's hoping for it.
She will.
Everyone in the DA's office is like,
everybody would see what an axe-wound she really is.
You know, I know she's going to get fired.
How's that?
She's a Republican.
Mm.
Everyone else on the board are Democrats. This is the city of Rochester.
Yeah.
There's no way she survives this. If she was Lovely Warren, you'd be like, oh, you hired your uncle and you gave him a bunch of money. Like, whatever, that's fine. We don't care.
Yeah.
She's a Republican. She's definitely getting shit canned.
Yeah.
And most people know why Sandra called the chief of police, but they want to hear her say why she made that call.
Okay, yeah, let's hear.
Were you hoping to achieve by calling the police chief 3 times during that incident?
So the context is, you know what, I work with law enforcement every single day. I have every single chief's cell phone in my phone. When I realized that the officer was attempting to pull me over, I wanted to make sure by calling the chief that he knew it was me and that I wasn't a threat. That first call lasted approximately 18 seconds. Can I tell you exactly what was said in it? You know, I don't remember. Was that the wrong decision? Obviously, yes. It was wrong. I made the wrong decision and I regret it.
Yeah. I mean, tell Barney Fife to hit his quota on the civilians is what the conversation that she had with the chief of police was. It's, you don't give tickets to people that are on the same team. That's the conversation.
I like that she goes, can I tell you exactly what I said? No, I can't. Give us the gist. It was 18 seconds. Give us the gist of it. Was it something like, I will have this guy's job? Like, what's he thinking, trying to pull me over? That would be the gist of it, right? I'm pretty sure, I would imagine.
If I say what I really said, it's going to get a lot uglier for me.
Yeah,
so I'm
no
not
shit.
gonna say that.
I don't remember in the body cam footage, if this comes out, did he say how long he was following her? Does anybody know that? Because
it might have only been a minute or two.
Because the story is changing now, right?
Okay.
The original story was, oh, there's a cop behind me. Oh, I thought he was pulling somebody else over, so I just went about my business. Oh, he's still following me. I'm not sure why, but I'm the DA, so I'm just going to go to my house. Now it is. I called his boss 3 fucking times before I even got home.
Yes, Joe, that's a very good point.
With
yes,
your boss on the phone.
That's a very good point because she tried to make it sound like she didn't even know she was getting pulled over. That's why she didn't pull over. And now we find out she was immediately calling the chief of the Webster Police Department going, I can't believe one of your fucking rookies thinks they can pull me over. What the fuck are you doing? What kind of shit show are you running over there?
And also a huge line of bullshit. I just wanted him to know that I wasn't a threat. Like, nobody thinks you're a fucking threat. You're in Webster.
No, you are a threat. You're going 55 into 35. Now, listen, you guys might look at me and be like, Karl, what, you think speeding's bad? No, of course I don't. I speed everywhere all the time. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. I love speeding. But my point is that police officers think it is for some reason. I don't know where they got that fucking stupid notion in their head. 35 is a ridiculous speed limit on any road. But for whatever reason, they think it's dangerous to go that fast. Maybe there's children who live in the area. I don't know. I don't have children. Maybe there are.
Yeah, she was doing 50 past all the signs with the little kids holding their hands, and it's this deaf child area, and please, crossing, and she's just like fucking pedaling.
She hit a speed bump. It was actually an autistic kid, but to her it was just a speed bump.
Yeah,
giving civilians speeding tickets is how they pay for the reload of the tasers that they use on all the minorities in town. They need
good point. All right,
tickets.
it's worth it. You're right. Good point.
I do want to say though that before anybody maybe thinks this is not real, I went out and take a turn.
Oh, it's a Joe anecdote. Here we go. Do we have a bumper for this? Do we have a stinger for a Joe anecdote?
Everybody,
I go out.
Crazy-ass cracker.
Before I get to the expressway, which is right next to my house, there's a cop with somebody pulled over. I come back. I'm sitting outside having a drink, eating dinner. There's a cop with people pulled out same day, right in front of where I'm sitting. I get in my car. I drive home. Oh, they're stopping me. So it's a day, like they do it. Like everybody thinks that might be a rumor or whatever. No, they're out. They pick a day and they just stop anybody. They stop me for tint on my vehicle that I've been driving around this town for 10 years.
A factory issued vehicle.
It's fucking ridiculous. Anyway.
Okay, so I do want to give some props to the interview here because she's going to call it like she sees it.
Good.
You were trying to get out.
At that point, I wanted the officer to know that I was not a threat. And I'm sorry for that.
Why not just pull over and tell him you're not a threat?
I don't have a good answer for that. I made a mistake. I was not thinking clearly. It all happened so fast. If you understand, the area where, I first saw the officer to my house, it was a little over a minute. The whole thing unraveled so quickly. I made a lot of mistakes. If I could go back in time, I would certainly stop and handle it differently, but I didn't. And I was a jerk.
All right. What a retard.
Yeah.
Can I just point out, that's the dumbest excuse ever. She has had zero training on how to deal with this, apparently. Whoever her PR firm is, or crisis management. Like, I used to work at an agency. We had a crisis management portion of the agency. They would work with people like her. What's that?
Here's a Karl anecdote.
Yeah.
Crazy ass cracker.
So I knew some things about crisis management, and you would train people on how to talk and how to deal with media. She obviously has had very bad learnings, or she didn't listen, or she's not dealing with these people, because think about that. She's setting the tone for all of Monroe County. She's the DA. How do you deal with police officers? It happened so fast. I just panicked. I just drove away from the cops. I just tried to go home without pulling over. So is that the lesson to be learned? If the police are pulling you over for doing something wrong, it's happening so fast. I don't know. I pulled out my gun and just started shooting towards the police officer. I don't know. Everything is happening so fast. It's not happening fast at all, dummy. Someone was pulling you. We've all been pulled over. I've been pulled over many, many times. Karl anecdote. I've been pulled over many, many times. I've lost my license multiple times.
Me too.
When I was a teenager, I'm better now. But it's funny how when you drive a nice car, they don't pull you over as much. But anyway, you get pulled over, you pull over, you deal with it, you manage it, you're polite to the police officer. Like, that's the only thing that there is. The fact that she acts like, I didn't know what to do. There was a cop pulling me over. It's all happening so fast.
I know.
That's the worst. Not since George Floyd has there been a worse teaching of how to deal with police officers. Yeah, yell, I can't breathe. Yeah. And then die of a fentanyl overdose. And that's the way to deal with it. Like, no, that's the wrong way to deal with it. You're teaching people the wrong thing.
Yeah. But she's already, sorry, Joe, she's already repeating herself too. If you caught that, she said in the third minute what she already said in the first minute. And saying that I wanted them to know that I'm not you're a white lady and probably an Audi. Nobody thinks you're a threat. Stop saying, I wanted them to know
her car cost $70,000. She's in Webster.
Yeah.
In an affluent neighborhood. No one thinks she's a threat. They're just mad that she's going 20 over the speed limit.
Yeah. The other part of it, but like the lack of PR training, the lack of, I don't understand this thought process. You stop, the cop walks up. Like, how long could this interaction have possibly taken for him to approach your vehicle? You flash your badge, give him your license, and say, I'm the DA, and you're on your fucking way.
Yeah, if she had stopped, he would have run her plate, and then what she thought would happen, but she just refuses to stop.
Exactly. It was just the shorthand of it was even, that wasn't even good enough for her. The whole interaction would have taken less than 5 minutes had she just pulled over.
Andy, do you remember there's this guy, Chris Niter, who was a police officer when I was working at Sully's back in the day. We were hanging out with him, and we were driving down, I think 590, going probably 90 miles per hour. We're all out drinking. We're going to a different bar, and a cop pulls us over. And so the guy driving's a police officer.
Before body cam footage, by the way.
Good point. You're right. Yes. And so he pulls over, and he's laughing about it. He's going 90. He's drunk. He's laughing. We're like, oh, what's going on? The police pulls him over. The guy gets out of the car. He walks up. Niter just has his, what they call a shield, the badge. He's just like, meh. He goes, I knew it, man. I had a feeling the way you were driving. All right, man. Have a great night. Like, literally, the corruption is real. The corruption is real. Yeah. All Sandra had to do, like you said, pull the fuck over, pull out the badge. The police officer's going to be intimidated, be like, oh, all right, I didn't realize. Sorry. Go about your day and you're fine. This idiot had to act like she was too good to even fucking pull. That's how bad the corruption's gotten. Too good to even pull over to show the badge.
It's either you're driving like a lunatic because you're a cop and you're above the law, or you're driving like a lunatic because you're high on fentanyl. But you can tell them apart because the fentanyl people are bouncing off the guardrails. That's the only difference.
Yeah. Chrysler 300. But to your point, the reason that she should be fired is she's too stupid to fucking even know that.
Right.
The total lack of awareness of how that interaction would go, the inability to process that is a complete disgrace to logic, and you should be fired immediately.
Well, it exposes the corruption. I mean, the corruption's there. It's always going to be there. The corruption, I mean, this is a low-level corruption in this country. It goes to the point where Joe Biden's being interviewed by Jason Bateman, and they're acting like he's the greatest president in the world. The corruption's all over the place. It's insane.
Did that happen?
Yeah, I reviewed on WATP yesterday.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah,
it's
me
insane.
too.
It's fucking nuts. But the corruption is all over the place. It's insane. But at that level, you got to play the game. Just play the game, Sandra. Like, literally, we know you're above the law and you can speed and no one's going to do anything about it. You can drive drunk. You do whatever the fuck you want. It's fine. Right. But you got to just play the game. Just pull over and tell the cop, like, hey,
that's a good point. It's like the George Santos shit. It's like, stop being so flagrant about asking for bribes.
Right.
You fucking idiot.
We all know politicians lie. You're going too far.
Yeah.
We're getting annoyed with it.
You know what's not a soundbite? This.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
Yeah, they can. Do that off body cam footage. All right, let's sum up all the don'ts that Sandra does during the official traffic stop where she disobeys an officer in his line of duty.
Saw body worn camera video of someone in your position who ignored those commands. Would you push to charge them with more than just a speeding ticket?
What I would do if I was reviewing something like this, I would look at the whole circumstances, just like we do every single, case that comes in the office. You've got to look at everything that was going on, and I think that's what should be done in my case.
Go fuck yourself. I'd be like, did she have a bad day that day? Oh, she had a bad day. Okay, her husband's going through something. All right, then never mind. Go fuck yourself, Sandra.
Don't do what Donnie don't does.
Yeah. I mean, Chili DeCastro is in jail for 70 days for this type of behavior. You're not supposed to be able to get away with this.
Correct.
I'm also over the whole that's not who I am excuse. This is fully who you are.
Yes.
What you're doing now is not who you are. People have dualities to their personalities where sometimes you make selfish decisions and sometimes you make selfless decisions. But this is like what Ariana Grande in her episode. She's just like, I'm all, me, guys. I'm always perfect. This is never going to happen again. I know I act like an asshole now, but go buy my album and I'll never act like an asshole. No, I mean, you're going to make another bad decision in your lifetime. Don't promise that it's never going to happen again.
I accept bad moments. Everyone has bad moments. It's like I was at Target and somebody one of the customer services people is like, "Can I help you?" And I just kind of like ignored them because I was in a bad mood. I'm like, "Oh wait, I was being an asshole there," and you apologize for that. Like acting like a consistent dickhead for a half an hour is not like having a bad moment or this is not who I am. It's fully who you are.
You would come to your senses and stop doing it after the first 20 minutes.
You're in your own home. You're in your garage. There's no reason for. I don't even know the scenario where a police officer would be hanging out in your garage and just like casually trying to sort this out. It doesn't happen. You should be, electrocuted on the ground. It doesn't.
Wait a second, Joe. What if Trump came out and he's like, you know what? I handled the media all wrong in my first term. That's not me. I actually respect CNN and the New York Times. I was being a jerk at some of those press conferences. I'm not going to do that again. You wouldn't accept that?
I would believe that.
Okay, good.
We turned over a new leaf. He totally has the best interests of this. So, Andy, Neon has this.
Believe me.
About it.
I already know today's about to be so bad on the internet.
Yeah.
Today's going to be so bad for Sandra Doorley on the internet.
And she feels that the circumstances of the incident need to be taken into account for people to fully understand the situation before she's condemned in the court of public opinion.
Were you under the influence of any alcohol, any drugs, prescription or not at the time of this incident?
Absolutely no alcohol whatsoever. I left work at 5:20 and went right home. No illegal drugs. I'm always on prescription chemotherapy drugs that I take at least 3 to 4 times a week.
But not under the influence of any.
Nothing illegal and nothing that I believe would have affected, my ability to make a decision. I was stupid, Jen. There's nothing else I could say, and I regret what I did, and I'm really sorry for it.
All right, sorry, I fucked up the clips, but
no. What drugs? She has chemotherapy?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. I gotta play my chemotherapy drugs as a sympathy card because everybody knows that if you can skip all the Disney lines and speed as fast as you want around the neighborhood if you're on chemo, that's not an excuse to treat people like shit. Act like an asshole, act like you're above the law.
Hey, were you drunk or high? No, but I am treating my cancer. What? What? That's not the question at all. Your Honor, I'd like that stricken. We were asking if she was drunk or high, and that might have affected her behavior, and that she wanted sympathy. Go fuck yourself.
Apparently, I have to issue my apology within this episode already. Apparently, I'm the asshole. Her hair looks like shit because she's on chemotherapy.
Oh, yeah, it's a wig, Joe, you idiot.
Her diagnosis. That's why she looks like a dried out scarecrow on the top of her fucking head.
And, go ahead.
I just in the last clip, was that the clip where she goes, I would examine every aspect of the person's life
before that?
Right? I just want to touch on that for 1 second. Are you fucking kidding me? That was just like, oh well, why did you rob the convenience store? Oh well, I don't have a job and
correct. Good point.
Starving.
Why did you beat your wife? Well, she was mouthing off a lot. I keep losing all my gambling bets, and she was just like, I don't know why you keep thinking the Cubs are going to win and cover the spread. And I'm like, bitch.
Yeah.
I think that their pitching staff is better than you think they are. Okay. Well, then in that case, I understand why you gave her a black eye. That's a good point, Joe. Yeah. Why the fuck are we examining the background information of a crime in the way it's just like, well, should we be sympathetic? No. The answer is no.
She's saying there's circumstances where this would be excusable, but it's not like you're being like somebody's you're in a high-speed chase escaping an attacker that's trying to kill you, and if you stop, they're going to catch you, so you didn't, and then maybe they let you off.
It'd be one thing if she was on a bus that had to go 60 miles per hour, and if it went under 60, a bomb would explode. Then you'd be like, officer, you have to understand, there's a reason why I was speeding. You'd be like, all right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But don't you understand these circumstances?
Yeah. To that point, though, too, it goes both ways, right? For good or bad. She's like, oh, well, I was having a bad day, like between all of my job difficulties, my husband's erectile dysfunction, and my chemotherapy. I'm having a really hard time. Okay, so we should take that all into consideration. But if you grew up, poor and you have no money and you have a violent background, then we have to take that all into account. Or it can't go both ways.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah. What about she was complaining about seeing the cab driver who was executed. The person who killed the cab driver, maybe their dad stepped out on them early on in life and their mom beat them. And, the school they went to wasn't the best.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? A cab driver's gotta go. What are you gonna do?
The price of Ubers and cabs is like, it's fucking $50 for me to go 10 miles from the city to my house. But hey,
that's a good point. That's a good point, Joe.
Okay, so this whole scenario that we're talking about, it looks like and is exactly what everyone thinks it is. But Sandra is once again going to try and shovel this line of shit that nobody's buying.
Looks like to the community. This is a clear-cut example of rules for thee and not rules for me.
Yes,
totally.
I understand that. especially with members of the community. For example, white people and Black people, we perceive.
I'm Christian.
I submit law enforcement differently, the criminal justice system differently. But all I can tell you is, as a DA, what I perceived. My initial thought, actually, when I saw the police officer turn around, I thought he was going off to another stop, that he got a call for service. And then when I called the chief, my goal then was to say, I'm not a threat, because I didn't want him to think he was approaching a car and not knowing what to expect inside.
Right. So, guess what, Black folks? The precedent's been set. So anytime you get pulled over by the cops, just call the chief of police and explain to them that you're not a threat. And then there's no more police shootings in the country anymore. Problem solved.
Can I just say this real quick?
Yeah.
What an asshole! I just want to make the point. The fact that she went black and white with this. So I happen to be the worst person possible in America today. I am a white male who's cisgendered.
Yeah.
It's the worst thing you could possibly do. I'm attracted to females. I am a white guy. I didn't pick any of these things. I know you probably think I did. I didn't.
That's your privilege, Karl.
I know. It's crazy.
You a white guy?
It's crazy. I have gotten so many speeding tickets in my life. If I'm going 20 over the speed limit, I remember 77 on the throughway. Back then it was 55. I was going 77. A cop went through the fucking median, risked his own life to come back and get me. I was driving a Honda CRX at the time. It's a 2-seater car. It's a garbage car. I would have died regardless. And this fucking cop went through the median to pull me over to give me a fucking $80 ticket that I couldn't afford. But it's crazy that fucking Sandra Doorley is like, listen, I get it. White people, Black people, right. I get it. No. All of us have the same laws. I can't explain this to you guys enough. There's this thing called the Constitution. I realize we've had some issues with race in this country. We're all aware of that. We all live under the same fucking laws. This isn't a white person, Black person issue. The fact that she would even bring that up is insane. She's a lunatic. She needs, what I was saying before she should lose her job? She should be executed. I take all of that back. I don't want her to lose her job. I want her to be murdered at her job now. Can you say that on your show? I'm not sure if that's legal.
It's on Patreon.
Yeah, this is not Patreon, Joe.
But it's even worse than that. It's even more simple or more arrogant, I think, from her side of, I had to call this man's boss because I needed to protect him from the situation, the very rare and uncommon situation that cops have in their daily lives of pulling over a vehicle and not knowing who or what might be behind the vehicle. I just wanted him to know that I wasn't a threat and that he was safe. Bitch, they do it every fucking day. They do it 100 fucking times a day. They don't need you looking out for them in some fucking nonsense way that they're fine. Okay. This is their job.
By the way, privileged white women in a Black SUV rarely end up shooting police officers. That's not what this guy was concerned about. It's like, oh, good thing she's not pulling over. This probably would have been a problem.
Yeah. I better call back up on this one. And now we've been doing this for a year now. This is episode 53. And in the way that Karl has become the leading expert on how not to podcast, we have kind of been striving for this goal of picking up on becoming apology experts. Yes. And there are a couple of apology tours that I've already mentioned, Ariana Grande. Now we've seen another one that is kind of similar in this. This is going to have shades of Kobe Bryant when we get into her interaction with the police officer that pulled her over.
Have you spoken with the police officer since this incident?
I have reached out twice to try to apologize to him, and the messages that I left were apologetic. I would like to actually sit down face to face and apologize with him because I think he deserves that. I'm waiting to hear back from him.
Yeah, I bet you are. No, do you have his number? Let's call him right now.
I think he deserves that. He never wants to talk to you again. You're a raging C word.
If I know anything about the way cops operate, and I don't because I've never been arrested because I'm too smart to get caught, this cop is on paid leave in Thailand right now, and he's not taking your fucking calls. He's on vacation until this all blows over.
I only want to just come back to your Kobe reference, just so everybody understands that, because it is definitely one of my favorite topics that we've covered. Karl, I don't know if you remember when Kobe Bryant went through all of the sexual assault allegations. He ended buying his wife that ring and everything. But one of the things that he did throughout that process was throw Shaq directly under the fucking bus and be like, well, Shaq handles his women this way all the time. And all of a sudden, it's just like, Shaq's just like, keep my name out of your fucking mouth, you fucking idiot. And so then Kobe's like, well, I tried to call him on Christmas and he didn't answer. And I don't even have his number. Do you have it? Because I don't know how to get in touch with the guy. It was the most disgraceful fucking answer to why would you throw Shaq? Why would you bring Shaq into this? It was hilarious.
Right.
Well, let's point out the insincerity right here. So the woman asks her, and it's a dumb question, but whatever, I don't care.
Right.
Have you talked to the police officer? I've tried. He doesn't want to talk to me. Why would he?
Yeah.
What, he doesn't owe you anything. You treated him like shit. You called him an asshole. He was doing his job. You thought you were above the law. And now you want to be this insincere asshole, just like, hey, I want to apologize to you. So can my camera crew stop by at like 3 and we'll show up and you'll like accept my apology? Like, no, go fuck yourself. Because honestly, before cop cams, he would have lost his job.
Mm-hmm.
This is the honest truth of what's going on. And I was listening to my buddy who runs a podcast. He has a YouTube channel, is RPD. And he was talking about this incident. And he goes, you know, when the cop cam thing came in, we all hated it. And then they brought in the cameras in the interrogation room. We were all against it. Turns out it's great for cops. It's great for detectives. It turns out we're not the bad guys. And this is actually exposing what's actually going on in their lives. Like, they all thought this was going to be bad for them. And it's just the opposite. This cop has nothing to apologize for, has nothing to prove. The fact that Sandra Doorley would go on and be like, well, I don't know why this guy won't meet with me. Why would he? What's in it for him? He's
slide into my DMs and I'll send you an edible arrangement. Okay, Sandra, fuck you.
Yeah, he's the victor in this. You're the corrupt politician asshole who needs to be run out of town. He's the guy who will be on the force for decades to come.
But also kind of the flip side of that as well, of if she was who she thinks she is, wouldn't you just like subpoena him or order him to come to your office or like have his boss require him to come sit in front of you and accept your bullshit?
Do you think that'd be a bad look at this point? Do you think maybe the microscope's on this idiot? She can't do that now, can she?
But my point is, if you wanted to apologize to this guy, you could force feed him an apology if you wanted to.
I don't even know if that's true. I don't think she could.
I'm not saying it's a
good look. I don't think you can.
I'm saying the district attorney who's in charge of all the fucking police.
Right.
If she wants to talk to the guy, she'll fucking talk to the guy.
I love that she reached out to him twice and he's not even responded. That's amazing.
New phone, who dis?
Yeah, that's amazing.
Now, all right. Sandra famously said that she'd prosecute her own ticket and throw it out. Yeah. So the interviewer here, Jen, I believe her name is curious what's going to happen with the ticket that Sandra got issued.
I want to move a little bit into the ethical questions now of some of the things you said during the traffic stop. You said, go ahead, write me a ticket. I'm the one who's going to prosecute myself. You know what I'm going to do with that ticket? ? What would you have done with that ticket?
You know, Jen, I said a lot of things that were not pretty and that I'm ashamed of and that I'm embarrassed by and I'm sorry for. But I sent the ticket in by 1 o'clock the following day and pled guilty because I was speeding.
Right. So
not the answer. You didn't answer the question at all.
Because my boss said that I had to, or else I was fired. That's why I did the right thing. That's the real answer. But because
what would you have done with that ticket? I
camera.
would have torn it apart and thrown it out is the answer.
Yeah.
And she's like, and then this body cam thing came up, and I'm like, oh shit, I guess I should just pay it.
I would have wiped my ass with it and mailed it to the cop that issued it to me. But now that these body cam are here, I have to do the right thing.
I would have sprinkled some anthrax in it and sent it to the Webster Police Department.
I would have gone directly to Nick Tahoe's, had a garbage plate and a 40 ounce, and then had a raging bout of diarrhea and used that ticket to clean up the diarrhea.
Yeah. But instead, now I'm eating shit on your local Fox News channel.
She didn't answer that question at all. What an asshole.
Also, can we say how fucking pathetic it is that this, like, fingers crossed, this is her demise. This is your demise. Okay, this is pathetic. This is the most pathetic thing that anybody ruined their career over. It's sad.
Well, it's kind of delightful, but it's sad that we have to live in a city where this is the level of corruption that.
But and Joe, to your point, and this is the thing that I think a lot of us are naive. The people who are in power, this is their daily lives. They're above the law.
Yeah.
No one can tell them what to do. They're actually annoyed when an underling wants to tell them, like, well, you shouldn't be going 55 into 35. They want to teach them a lesson. They're like, no, you can't tell me what to do. This is what happened to Sandra Doorley. And so the fact that this actually came out, she's getting her comeuppance, never occurred to her in a million years that this could be a scenario in her life.
Yeah.
She is the police.
Yeah.
She runs the police. She understands. And so personally, I love this. I wish this would happen in every district. And I'm glad it happened in Monroe County. I wish this would happen in every county. Because this is what's happening in every county. By the way, if you guys think this is just Monroe County, this is every county. This is happening everywhere.
So, no, but you hit the nail on the head with this, but I'm going to take it slightly further here. These are privileges that you should have as the district attorney. But we understand.
What do you mean? You should have.
Karl and I both just went.
No one's above the law, Joe. What do you mean you should? You should be allowed to get away with speeding? Like, what if she hit a kid who was trying to cross the street? What do you mean you should have those privileges?
No, I don't mean that, but I mean, like, you are going to be afforded a level of respect or
correct.
The same, like what you're talking about with the cop speeding, doing 90, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's going to be common courtesy. There is going to be us against them mentality.
It's all bad. It's all bad. But go on.
You have to keep that quiet, and
correct.
we said it before. You have to play the game. Like, I'm not. You said the naivete of people. Well, we all know this goes on. We all know that.
I know what you're saying, Joe. You're like, if you work at Little Caesars, you probably get free pizza. Is what you're saying.
Exactly.
I understand.
You're going to be afforded certain privilege. This is nothing. Once again, this is pathetic. This is a nothing thing. This is something that would have been thrown right out.
Okay, so Joe, I know that you vote for politicians. You think politicians are great. You're a different guy than I am. I think all politicians are bullshit and garbage. And I will tell you, no, don't even respond, because I know who you are. You're an idiot. So I will tell you, this corruption is happening everywhere all the time. And you're like, yeah, of course it's happening. It's what's supposed to be. No, it's not. When I worked at Pizzeria Uno, this is what it comes down to. I worked at Pizzeria Uno for a little while. Joe's chugging beer now. He's mad at me. I worked at Pizzeria Uno, and we had a rule at Pizzeria Uno. You couldn't drink at the bar if you were an employee there. And the reason why, even if you were off your shift, the reason why is because, well, you're probably friends with the bartender. You guys work together and they might hook you up. Like, literally in a corporation, I know you hate corporations, Joe, because you don't understand how cars are made, but in a corporation, they understand that corruption is going to happen. In politics, they don't. In the government, they're just like, no, this is great. She's the DA. These are the police. They work for her. She can do whatever the fuck she wants. She can murder someone. She can rape people. It's fine. We get it. Just don't show people, and it's okay. It's not okay. This is not what we're supposed to be doing, Joe.
I love this. I think, was it in the bonus show that Karl's like, we've known each other forever, and Karl's acting like he doesn't, like, you think that's what I think. Like, I wrote for politicians and I love them. It's like, no, corporate America, they have it. They're great. They're great too.
No, corporate America is garbage. Dude, you don't think that fucking politics and corporate America are in bed together? I get that. I understand all of that.
Tell me more about what I think, Karl.
I think that you think that politicians are great.
I think that Karl was the Sandra Doorley of Pizzeria Uno. He kept walking out to the bar going, a mega pint. All right. Well, next they want to know if she has ever thrown her tickets out before. She said,
I'm sorry. Before we move on from that, though, because this is an elected position, right? Yeah. So what we're not talking about here is how long it's been over 10 years, right? Hasn't she been in the office?
For yeah. For
30 years.
Comfortable.
30 years.
No, not 30, but she's been in the DA since like 20. Okay. 2008 or something like that. Yeah, it's a long time.
She said she had a 30-year career. It was probably her other.
Right. But not as the DA or whatever.
Okay.
But no, this is I don't know, proof positive of just like career politicians or getting too comfortable in a position, thinking that you just run this fucking city. No, fuck her.
And she said in the cam that she's just going to prosecute her own ticket and throw it out. So now they're going to ask her, have you ever done that before?
Yeah.
I think people might hear you say that and they might say, gee, have you ever fixed a ticket for yourself or someone else before?
For my absolutely not. I've been in local courts, helping because we've had a DA shortage. And when citizens come into, the court that I was in, I would give them parking tickets and speeding tickets if they took a defensive driving class. So I guess I have given offers to people out there. I wasn't even going to get a special prosecutor and ask for that courtesy for myself. I was just going to, take my lumps and pay my ticket. I had a clean license.
No, normally it never even gets this far. I play the "Don't you know who I am" card way before it gets to the body cam footage, and it's never like Rube Goldberged itself this far, where now I'm going to lose my career doing the shit that I do every fucking day.
Hey, I'm so glad you said that. I was thinking the same thing. Do you know who the fuck I am? Is literally what she did. And the show's up. She's like, so are you corrupt as other people too? She's like, no, it's never happened before. Like, what?
This is Reese Witherspoon. This is, do you know? Reese Witherspoon literally said, do you know who I am? And I said, no. And she said, you're about to. It's the same thing.
It's so fun. This is the one apology, and this is cannibalizing all the other apologies we've ever done.
Yeah,
she's stepping on all the fucking rakes.
That's what we were saying on episode 52. It's the same script, different person. It's just like who's it going to happen to next, and who's going to say all this, like, go to the playbook of the apology tour, and it's just it's a never ending.
She's the worst at it ever, though. Am I crazy about this? She's bad at this.
She should be way better.
Yeah,
way better.
That's the real point. She should be way better at this, but she's going to get fired.
She should have a team of people telling her, backtrack on everything. Everything you did was wrong. You never did it before. You'll never do it again. Like, that's all you got to do is just be like, this is crazy. I know, weird episode. I don't get it. Instead, she immediately goes, yeah, I'm sorry about that, but I had a bad day at work and my husband and blah, blah, blah. I didn't know I was getting pulled over.
I got to do a 10-minute interview with the media about this.
Oh.
No,
go away.
There's one thing that let me lay the playbook out for anyone. If you issue, all apologies are submitted in writing. If in the better version, take a picture of your written apology and submit it as an image so nobody can fucking grab the text and do whatever they want with it. That is the playbook. We almost did the Royals today. The problem with the Royals is that they never fucking talk to the media. Everything is a fucking snippet of a sound of a fucking oh, sorry about that. That's it. And they move on with the fucking atrocities and whatever else they're fucking doing. That's how you do it. You don't fucking run to Channel 10 and be like, I'll sit down and explain myself. You fool.
You know who doesn't apologize?
Who?
Trump. Biden.
Karl loves Trump, everyone.
My point is, like, they've been taught well.
Yeah.
There's a lot to apologize for.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, are you sorry about this? He's like, nope. Not even the slightest. It's like, you should be. Like, nope, I'm not.
This is so sorry. This is gonna sound misogynistic, everyone.
Yeah.
Guys have known this for years. What you do is what ticket? What traffic stop? I'm a DA. I deal with police and traffic stops all the time. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, that remember you got pulled over the other day. I don't remember.
Wrong. All right. But people that know the law understand that this qualifies it as an arrestable offense. And the fact that Sandra didn't get processed for this behavior could be called special treatment. Would Sandra call it special treatment?
Technically, the situation was an arrestable offense. That's what we've been told. You didn't stop. So it looks like you did get special treatment for being the DA.
I get back to, I made a mistake. I'm owning that mistake. I'm being accountable for that mistake, and I'm sorry.
Well, Jen, answering that would spotlight the many layers of corruption in our local law enforcement. So instead of making another mistake, I'll just reiterate the same mistake that I already made, and I'm currently apologizing for the third time. And these are my talking points. And what were we talking about? I forget. Ask that question again.
Major crimes. Shit.
Yeah, the fact that she brought race into it earlier is just like, well, if a black person had not pulled over, like, they probably would have been shot. Like, literally, the fact that she pulled into her garage and the police officer had to come up to her, his gun should have been drawn. Right?
Oh, yeah, but she kept going into the house. Like, you don't know what she's getting in the house.
Right.
It might be a gun.
A
like,
bazooka.
Yeah, like literally she was resisting arrest at that point. And he would have been within his right to have his gun drawn and be like, get on the ground. Get out of the car. Get out of the fucking ground, motherfucker. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And he was way too polite to her, in my opinion.
So to defend myself slightly after Karl tried to assassinate my character by saying I love politicians and everything, it's not that I love politicians and think that they deserve this treatment and that they have these privileges that they've earned or anything like that. It's that the corruption is just so ingrained in the system that I look at it and I go, of course she's going to get off. Of course he's going to let her go. Of course this is what's going to happen.
Yeah. Of course Trump's not going to get a felony charge.
So, what?
Of course Trump's not going to get a felony charge.
Yeah, of course Barack Obama's not going to be charged with murdering a U.S. citizen with a drone strike. Of course. No, I know. I know you guys are like, oh, no, Trump's the only one who's ever committed a crime. It's the president. Oh, yeah, no, it's never happened before, you fucking
It's just
retards.
the one that's happening right now, asshole.
What is Karl doing right now? Like,
I don't know. I'm confused by you guys. I'm confused.
This
What's going on?
Alex Stein, okay?
Okay, that's what's going on right now. Okay.
You think you're on a blimp right now?
Yeah,
I am a pimp on a blimp.
Affiliated with fucking Stuttering John's partisan politics all of a sudden.
All right. Oh, hang on. I do have the clip lined up. This might be the even-handed way to ask someone, how dumb are you?
I have to ask because, we sort of got tipped off on this early last week and we started making some calls. Your statement comes out and your statement says, I had no intention of using my position for a benefit and no one is above the law. Yet it very clearly looked like in that video, you thought you were above the law. Did you not think that the body camera video was going to come out?
What's body camera
First
video?
statement went out for the sake of transparency. I wanted to make sure that I was being transparent in what I did. I've always been very clear about, what I've done in this office. At that point, I wasn't even thinking about the body worn camera. I just wanted to make sure that it was out there that I got pulled over by the Webster police and I got a speeding ticket and I had pled guilty to it.
You think you're special. You think you're a special lady that's so special that she shouldn't have to pay a speeding ticket ever. That's what you think.
Could she be more uncomfortable? This is how I know she knows that she fucked up. Yeah. Which is like every time they answer questions, like, oh yeah, fuck. Well, I guess what I was doing was I don't know.
I didn't know that question was gonna get asked.
She's a child with chocolate cookie crumbs all over her face.
Yeah, right.
Son, did you eat the cookies? What? I just wanted
I didn't
everybody.
know there were cookies. I don't know what you're talking about.
What's a cookie?
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't even know how to deal with this. If I was in her position, I wouldn't be in her position because I'm not a corrupt asshole. But if I was in her position, I think I would take a very different tact. Right? Like trying to act like what I did was, it looked bad, but I'm obviously not a corrupt politician. That's the wrong way to go about it. It's so dumb. There's got to be a better way to go about it. Just be like, you know what? There is a lot of corruption, and I'm going to change all of that. Like every police officer is going to get busted for DUIs the next 12 months. You're like, all right, cool. Let's
go Oprah with it and be like, I'm paying for everybody's traffic stops at the court. My court date is on the 6th. I'm going to walk into the court and pay all the fines.
There you go.
It's as easy
the people.
It's as easy as saying nothing at all and everybody forgetting about it 3 days from now. I mean, just keep your mouth shut and it'll probably blow over.
Oh, yeah. You know what, Andy? That's a good point because this is a big story. It's making all the national news. I hear all the shows talking about it. There's all these YouTube videos analyzing her behavior and everything. So you got to think, like, don't feed them more fuel. That's the worst thing you could do is like start doing interviews. So the local news reaches out. They're like, hey, can we interview you about this? And be like, no. Not this week.
George Stephanopoulos is also on the line, and he would like to interview on Good Morning America.
Yeah.
Like, oh yes, I will take that interview. Yeah.
I'd be like, what's your September look like? Because my summer is so busy.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then by then it's blown over. No one cares. And you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, or she's fully capable of orchestrating some other type of local scandal, probably. Like, how much shit does she know about anybody where she could be like, oh, 24-hour news cycle. Sandra Doorley got stopped by the cops. Oh, really? Well, fucking, I don't know who's prominent around here.
Lovely Warren.
She's
one of my favorites.
Caught with his dick in the fucking cantaloupe at the Pittsford Wegmans. Like she must know something that she could fucking divert the attention away from this.
It might be a little bit too obvious. Like, Joe, I agree with you. That's a good tactic. But it might be a little bit too obvious. Just like, yeah, I didn't pull over, but did you know that our mayor was sticking his dick in a cantaloupe? You'd be like, all right, but that's not the point.
Well,
I mean, we will get into that.
Pittsford Wegmans shooters are pulled over right now. Well, let's go talk about that. Just name somebody else.
Yeah.
Now they want to know what the future holds for Sandra Doorley's career. What does that look like?
Have you ever called a chief in a community before for a favor like this?
No.
Yeah, right.
Or ask
we were so quick to do it.
Not write a ticket for you because
did you see her look down? Like, look at the eye.
No. I mean, I doubt it. Doesn't seem like me.
Looking for the answer on the ceiling.
Yeah.
This isn't a courtroom.
I would ask the community for my forgiveness. I would ask them to look at my 32-and-a-half-year career. I would ask them to look at how I handle cases, especially to look at the last year in the cases that I've, prosecuted for this community, and not judge me on for what I did that afternoon. It was terrible. It was a bad judgment call. I made some mistakes, and I wish I could take them back, but I can't. So now I own them, and I will be responsible for them. And whatever happens, I will take the consequences.
Well, I mean, you have a lot of enemies in the community already. Anybody that you've ever ruled against or did your job and that didn't work out for them probably is rooting against you among all the other people.
I'm part of this community. I'm part of the community she's talking about. I don't forgive her at all. And listen, have I had some issues? Yeah, the Tampa Papers, for sure. And I've asked for forgiveness. And I've not been granted forgiveness, so I don't expect her to get forgiveness either.
Don't bother. Don't bring up the Tampa Papers. Never mention it again. Just never mention it again.
I don't expect anyone to see this show. That's why I said it.
Yeah.
Oh, this one's gonna be public.
Oh, let's bring up the music special then too.
God damn it! There are 3 or 4 songs that are very good.
That was
There's
part of that.
4 people that really liked that episode.
Oh, would Sandra welcome an investigation into her conduct because there's being a special task force is being assembled.
Yeah.
Did you ever consider resigning?
No. I was elected to serve this community, and I will continue to.
Fuck all that.
A majority of the city, county, and state lawmakers from our area have called for.
I just want to say, of course, somebody that's been handed power doesn't want to relinquish it.
Yeah, I know.
A more obvious answer. Oh no, I've been elected. I'm not going anywhere.
Have you ever considered resigning?
Yeah.
No. Do you know how much money I fucking make? This is a sweet gig. I can speed in Webster. Why would I resign this? Do you know how amazing this job is?
Yeah.
Email that question to Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell.
Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell are decaying in their fucking chairs in the Senate.
Yeah.
By the way, I just want to point out, I know this isn't important. The Dallas Stars just scored to make it 2-1 in Game 7 in the third period.
Into your actions, both criminally and ethically. Do you welcome those?
Absolutely. I welcome anyone to look at what I did. I welcome anyone to look at the circumstances, surrounding that day and judge me like I do every other case that comes into this office. We judge criminal matters
guilty.
on the individual facts, what happened that day to that person.
Happily.
We look at the character and nature of the defendant, whether or not there was a victim, and I just ask them to treat me like that. Again, I can't tell this community enough how embarrassed and sorry I am.
Okay. Can I make a statement here?
Yeah, please.
Whether or not there's a victim. So her statement right there is just like, well, who was hurt by this? Okay. I have this incredible idea about our country where no one gets arrested for anything unless somebody presses charges. So you can't get arrested for speeding or running a traffic stop or anything unless you're harming someone else and someone else is upset about it.
Yeah.
Could you imagine such a world? And I'm a libertarian, so this is how I feel about things. But imagine such a world where instead of the police just willy-nilly like pulling over this person for that reason or pulling over that person for this reason, and then that person gets away with it because they're this person and that person doesn't get away with it because of that person. Imagine the fact that like the police can't pull you over. You literally need to have someone complain like there's literally a problem. And that's what she's saying right there. And as the DA of Monroe County, I say, that's amazing. Let's do that. Can we do that?
Right.
Sandra Doorley, I'm all in. Let's go.
Andy, go ahead.
I was just going to say that she's welcoming this audit into her character. That might be the only repercussions that she suffers. So let's go ahead and inconvenience her as much as possible because she's already getting away with murder. So you might as well call up her ass with an ethical investigation.
There's a lot of people who have a lot of things to say about that. Good point. Yes.
Yeah. To Karl's point, though, also there was a place and time in this country where even if you were shit hammered drunk driving down the road and the cops stopped you, they would follow you home and make sure that you got home safe because it was a protect and serve mentality. Correct. And not a how can we fuck this person over and take all of their money because we need their money.
Yes.
It used to be about helping people, and Karl's right about that. It could be as local or as national as anything, and it's fucking sad.
Okay, we got 2 more clips here, and this
it's aggressive law enforcement that we're dealing with, and there's 2 different rules. There's rules for some people and rules for other people, and it's insane to me that people like the DA of Monroe County are saying this out loud and yet don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. a lot of these officers are under. It's weird because we have a friend that tried to go through the police academy. They make it so hard to get in, and then once you go through this training that's, I don't know, seems pretty tough, then you get in there and they claim that there's a lack of training. It's maybe it's just an excuse that they're playing, but I know that it's a hard job to do, but they keep running around saying that they don't have enough help and blah blah blah. But
Andy, I don't know why your I don't know why your black gay handicapped woman friend didn't get onto the police force. You know?
It's actually a white guy who plays drums in our bands, but anyway.
I'm shocked to hear that.
I know it's weird that this white guy who has sex with women wasn't able to get into the police force. It was crazy. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, and he was able-bodied. Oh,
yeah. He's actually
he had all his limbs.
Great shape. Yeah, he's got a great attitude. It's good, in good shape. Couldn't get in.
Yeah.
Okay. And apparently corrupt assholes have launched all right. I mean, I already set this up. I think I played the wrong clip, but there's being a committee that has the we're going to look into it with our internal investigation and solve all of our own problems ourselves. I'm sure you will.
The governor has weighed in on this. She has directed the Commission on Prosecutorial Conduct to investigate. You will be its first investigation. And it's my understanding that you initially did not support even the existence of this commission. So how do you sort of balance that in your mind about a statewide investigation by an agency that's fairly novice at this?
You know, and just to be clear, I served 4 times as the president of the District Attorneys Association, and that was one of the issues that we were talking about, whether or not there should be a commission on prosecutorial conduct. You know, there's also a grievance committee. I'm agreeing to self-report to the grievance committee. I welcome any investigation. I will cooperate and, handle whatever punishment is handed down to me, because I am truly, truly sorry.
We've already put the soap in our own mouths, everybody. Nobody needs to look over here and discover that the game is rigged. Oh, did I say it's a rigged game? I didn't mean to say that. No need. The investigation says that we're all going on paid leave. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. The idea that she goes, we don't like our Democratic governor who wasn't elected. Well, I guess she was elected this time. I don't know. That happened. Thank you, New York. We all don't want our governor trying to get this special task force going. She's like, yeah, I was never for that. It's like, well, now she wants to investigate you. She's like, oh no, that's great. That's fucking awesome. I'm totally for that. It sounds like a really good. I think Kathy Hochul is going to figure it out. I think it's going to be a great thing for us.
Yeah. You know what? I really loved my colonoscopy and my fucking.
Do you guys remember on the Howard Stern show, Artie Lang obviously was in the throes of heroin and all this stuff, and Howard was trying to get him help. And I remember very vividly, Artie was still on the show, and they're like, so you're seeing a therapist now, right? And Artie goes, yeah, I love it. It's great. It's great talking to my therapist. I get to get everything out. And in the aftermath, they're like, no one likes talking about their problems with their therapist. It's painful and awful. Like, this is not a fun thing. And the fact that Sandra Doorley is actually like, oh no, this is awesome. I love that Kathy Hochul's helping my business, and she's going to be prying into what I'm up to and figuring this out. No, it's great. It's fantastic. I wish there was more of this.
This look on her face.
No, it's fan-fucking-tastic. I wish that Hochul was more up in my business, to be honest with you. She's amazing.
I can't wait to be the guinea pig of this pilot program. It was specifically designed to fuck me over. I'm open to it.
I wish there were more people telling me I want to fuck up I am. It's great. It's fantastic.
I'm lining up to be a monkey being launched into outer space. All right, last clip. We the people have lost trust in our own legal system and police force.
Have we?
Well, you should be. I mean, if there's a better argument for it.
I have.
All right, and we don't bother arresting people that steal my Kia. So how can law enforcement, win back my trust? How is Sandra Doorley going to win back everybody's trust.
How will you earn back the trust of this community?
I want the community to look at what we do for this community. I want them to look at the good work of the members of this office. They are in court every day fighting for victims and making sure that our streets are safe. And I will continue to lead that. I will continue to make sure that we are doing what we need to do in order to improve the criminal justice system in Rochester.
And we will continue to not respond to calls, and we will park empty squad cars in intersections so people think that we're doing our jobs, because we're all too busy working triple overtime at an AEW event to stop the people from stealing all the cars in the city.
I know. I hate to say this because it sounds like a dick move, but does anyone think that they're actually worried about our safety? They just they're not doing anything. This is insane. I get their jobs are hard. I understand that, but if there's a lot of bad neighborhoods in this city, and they're not doing anything.
No.
Murder's happening every day.
And she
Staying out of the way.
She says that and looks off camera at somebody going,
just not buying it. I don't know. I don't tell you.
That's not going to happen.
I don't know. Let's see how long it takes for her to lose her job. I hope you guys continue to pay attention to this, and her strategy of just letting it up, my strategy of letting it all blow is over. It doesn't happen, and she actually does get fired, and it makes national news again. But
well, I will tell you, at the Ice Up show last night, we had a bunch of jokes about Sandra Doorley, much like we had a bunch of jokes about Lovely Warren, and those always went over very well. And I was glad to see that people are paying attention. They understood the jokes, because I never know with like local politics. I never know what's going to go over well. We do jokes about national things. We do jokes about local things.
Carl's like, these people are here to see surf music. They must be fucking.
I never know. I never know. So I was glad to see that it seemed like, and from my perspective, Andy, you were there.
Yeah.
See that people were in on the Sandra Doorley jokes. Like people are paying attention.
Well,
the lady dancing by herself totally got the message.
She was fun.
Yeah.
All she's done is handed a fucking arsenal to whoever runs against her next time. So I mean, I can't imagine that anybody.
Yeah, but when's she even up for re-election? I have no idea. We gotta. She should lose her job now. It's a corruption. It's corrupt.
She should just be removed.
Yeah, it's insane that she would even still have her job. It's crazy to me.
Well, that's what I was saying yesterday, Karl. They all these politicians count on the fact that we're going to stop paying attention eventually. We're going to have better things to worry about until it's right on your doorstep, and that's how they just stay.
You played that clip from Smartless, and was it Clinton or Obama? One of those guys. We're just like, middle America's not even paying attention to this.
Dude,
they're not even
it was
watching.
Biden. It was
that was Biden. He's like, no one's even paying attention to this. Meanwhile, they pass a $95.3 billion bill to fund wars in Ukraine and Israel and Taiwan. You're like, wait. My money's going where? Because I just paid my taxes. It's like April 15th was not long ago. Yeah. I just paid like tons of money over, and that's
money.
That's right.
My
money's going to
Ukraine,
Ukraine and Gaza and Taiwan. Like, what the fuck? And that literally, Biden or whoever just like, we don't want people paying attention to this shit. Just vote for me. We'll figure it out.
It's fucked up. Oh, Karl, I cannot thank you enough for coming on and being a guest on our 53rd episode. And I have to make sure everybody knows to check you out on WATP. Episodes come out Wednesdays and Thursdays, but also you have a lot of other things that you have your irons in the fire on. What do you want to talk about?
Well, WATP comes out on Thursdays and Sundays. If you subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, sign up for Who Are These Podcasts. Just make sure it shows up in your player, and you'll find it on there. Of course, we have our YouTube channel, which is at WTP Karl or Karl WTP, one of those things.
Let's be real. Everybody that's watching this right now only knows about this because of that.
If you search for Who Are These Podcasts on YouTube, you'll find it. And guys, thank you so much for having me on the show. Always a good time talking about apologies. And this was a fantastic apology. What an asshole Sandra Doorley is.
God,
I love it.
Embarrassing.
Yeah, that's a Hall of Fame one. And
For
so
sure.
thank you everybody for checking this out. Please follow us on Instagram, rate and review the show, and consider supporting us on Patreon. We just did a Patreon mini show with none other than Karl. So if you want more Karl, please check that out on Patreon. And I want to say thank you to Joe Sixpack for taking all of Karl's slings and arrows. I'm Andy Q Public for Karl Hamburger and Joe Sixpack saying,
fuck the government.
Stay sorry.